Hey everyone, pivotal day. I stopped the previous live stream uh, at let's see, I started at 2:30 or just a little after 2:30, right? Closer to 3 somewhere in there. So it was 2 hours and 21 minutes at La. It was a wonderful time at La Estra Lita. And if you're wondering why I'm looking down, it's because I want to make sure I pronounce the name correctly. Hey, Rick Rice, how you doing? La Estrelita, which to me translates to good food, well made. That's my personal translation for La Estrelita at 446 12th Avenue, corner of 12th Avenue and 5th in Oakland. Great place. And the I think that I'm going to go and check the channel right now, and I'll get back to the common live stream schedule of 8:30 very soon, like tomorrow. And thank you for visiting, and really thank you for making the live stream earlier today a success. I think at one point we had something like almost 50 viewers at a time, which considering the time of day is kind of nice, you know. And that was really great. Now, right now it says a bad primary stream. We're not reviewing video data at fast enough rate. Your viewers may experience buffering. Ensure your connection is fast enough and consider using a lower bit rate. This is an automatic bit rate. That's what I'm getting. However, what I think I'll do is just, while that's going, I think I'll restart the computer. Oh no, and now it's good. Excuse me. Take that back. All of a sudden, just as I say that, it says the stream is good, the health is good. It went from bad to good. Woohoo! All right, so I can go to the watch page, which I'm really very happy that, and I'll put myself on mute, which I just did, and I will tweet this out. And hey Barry Lee, how you doing? Don't I know you from someplace? And I will say welcome to Zenny62. And as I always ask, if you can, please, yes, invest. I love. In fact, I've got shares I have to give out because Cliff Goldberg gave a midday investment the other day. That was quite nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Goldberg. And there. So this is a pivotal day in Oakland sports political history. It really, I can't say enough about how pivotal this day has been. And it was marked by, among other things, well, the JPA threw Forever Oakland a major curveball. Just no two ways about it. I mean, it just, no two ways about it. And I think when all is said and done, excuse me, Park News. And I think when all is said and done, this day may very well cost someone out there politically their job. And I did say that. I think this day is going to cost someone out there politically their job. Now, who could it be? You know, who could it be? Hey, Joseph, how are you? How are you? Nice to have you here. But yeah, I believe that on this Wednesday, September 13th, a Belgian just marked the end of days of his political career. Now, who's a Belgian? He is the Oakland District 2 council member that presides over the District 2 area that the Oakland Athletics Stadium at Laney College will be located, if they get as far as they want to get in getting the go-ahead to start and build and finish a stadium in that location by 2023. And so that's the person I'm talking about. And Abel made some statements today that, I mean, I haven't heard them directly, but they were on the radio, and I got them from boss who called me, who was just livid, and talking about how Abel basically dissed the project and said that neighbors, people in his area were against it. And I have to tell you, I went over to cover the event, my live stream, to talk to people, and I didn't get a sense at all that there were people in the neighborhood who were against it. It was at La Estrelita, which really has served as the political seat of that part of Oakland along that East Lake area. It's a fantastic Mexican restaurant. You really have to visit it when you're in Oakland. But the people who run the business were very happy. They did admit it was going to cause some change, but that change can be mitigated. Now, what is that change? Affordable housing pressures will be more acute because land costs will go up. And the city can take a number of actions to really dampen that. But what I'm hearing, what I see in the criticism of people like Abel who are in power, is their inability to want to pull the levers of government to make sure that people are protected and the market forces are correctly steered. You know what I mean? That really is the problem. We have a series of elected officials who don't know what it means to use government to steer and mold market forces. That's a shame. I mean, I don't know. People like that should not hold office. And I'm nothing against Abel, in terms of his personally, okay? But, hey, look. You need politicians that really want to pull the levers of government and make a difference for people when it matters the most. And we really need that. And Abel Guillen, it doesn't sound like, if Boss is correct, he made the kind of statement that gives people comfort. Now, I think part of me is afraid to actually go and search for it myself, in part because I'm jealous that I didn't get a statement from him. Just being honest, okay? But let's go ahead and see. Hey, Lonely on Top, how you doing? Josephine says, good, thanks. It's hot in the West Coast. Thomas Beltran says, run for office. I'm still thinking about it, but Thomas says, I saw Olivia on TV, just my opinion. She didn't seem all that happy. And she wanted it at Howard Terminal. But Howard Terminal has its problems. In fact, I think the best way to demonstrate what those problems are is to read the letter from T. Gary Rogers that has to do with the problems that were faced there. Okay, you would say, what's Let's Go Oakland? Let's Go Oakland was an organization that was, and I'm reading at the website now. This is the website. I'll show you when you want to. There it is. Let's Go Oakland. Okay. Let'sGoOakland.com. All right. Let'sGoOakland.com. All right. And at any rate, Let's Go Oakland is an organization that was put together by Oakland lawyer Doug Boxer, whose mother, Barbara Boxer, it was a famous senator. Okay. And not only that, if you watch my live stream earlier today, or if you watch it at some time, you will see Doug Boxer in my interview with Doug Boxer there, and basically talking with him about really spearheading this need for a new stadium for the A's way back in 2009. Okay, he really did that. Now, Let's Go Oakland is a group of A's fans, business people, labor, and community leaders who are committed to keeping the A's in Oakland and building a new... Sorry about that, folks. Sorry about that, folks. I keep doing that. It's this... What it is this... It's this... I'll tell you what key quick call. All right? See, this wire comes over to the phone. It's this, all right? And so sometimes it gets a little tangled up here, and it causes that fall. Hey, thanks for sending a tweet, Barry. If you could send another one, hashtag Oakland, that would be fantastic. Thank you. Or even, yeah, hashtag Oak, OAKMTG, Oak Meeting. That would be fantastic. All right. At any rate, I was saying that I was reading what the website said, and it goes on to continue that it's about much more than just building a ballpark. This is what the website is reading. This goes back to 2009. As part of a larger plan, actually, this doesn't go back to 2009. This goes back to 2012. They're 13. As part of a larger plan to build new hotels, restaurants, and cafes, a new destination stadium will attract visitors from all over the region. Like AT&T Park did for San Francisco, our ballpark will be a catalyst to bring new investment and jobs to Oakland, kickstarting the next phase of our community's successful economic development. Okay, and they have this: if you support Oakland petition, sign now. All right, and you can see our presentation report here, and then they had a press release. So they have a economic and fiscal impacts of a new A's stadium on the waterfront, and that was focused on Howard Terminal, then Jacqueline Square North, and then Victory Court. All right. So, and they explain how a ballpark is a home for Oakland and everything else. All right. It's kind of an overview study. And then they had a press release as well that they have here. And it even has the salient points: create 1,661 new construction jobs, save and create permanent jobs, generate $2.6 billion in total economic activity, increase property values by $4.7 billion. The study estimates that this is a badly constructed paragraph, so I'll just reword it. The study estimates that a new stadium near Jacqueline Square area would increase the area's attraction and development opportunities. Taxable property values in the area will be $4.7 billion greater in 30 years when a new stadium versus without a new stadium. Okay, that sort of thing. But what is notable about this entire effort is, for all practical purposes, how it ended. Okay, and basically it ended in this way. I'll read it to you. Like I thought, T. Gary Rogers. I'm going to tell you T. Gary Rogers, and I'll just type PDF. Okay, and let's see here. T. Gary Rogers, and interesting. The letter I was once able to find is not as visible as it used to be. How about this? Take it like that. And T. Gary Rogers wrote this penned this letter. Let's go Oakland. I'll just say let's go Oakland letter. The problem is when I type T. Gary Rogers now and search, I get his passing. He was the founder and CEO of Dryer's Ice Cream. And that is not only sad development, but a kind of a loss of a person who was, prior to Dave Covell's arrival, really the person who really spearheaded trying to keep the A's in Oakland, and basically worked to make that happen, but it didn't happen. So, still trying to find this letter. There's a lot here, and I've got an idea. Let's go open letter, Howard Terminal, because it's worth reading if I can relocate it. And oh, here we go. A's ballpark proposal. Concerns about Howard Terminal. I believe I found it. Hold on a second. Let me let this open up. This goes back to 2014. And okay, here's one. Here's ballpark proposal. Concerns about Howard Terminal from neighbors. And this is from Mark Purdy. And Mark Purdy was against the A's being in Oakland to begin with. He's in San Jose. He wanted the A's down in San Jose. So, of course, he's going to spit out stuff like this, okay? And what he did was, but it's worth noting what was written and by who at the time. Mr. Eric Saar, Vice President of Policy and Government Relations for the California Truckers Association, wrote this about Howard Terminal. He said that, and I quote, "The Howard Terminal is surrounded by an assortment of industrial and transportation uses, including electrical substation, a metal recycling and exporting terminal, a power plant, two separate major truck pipelines." I can't talk. The reason why I can't talk, folks, is because I had great food at La Estrada, and I had a lot of coffee, and maybe I had 1/4 of a vodka cran. That's all I can drink. I cannot drink a full glass of a vodka cran. I'm sorry, I just cannot. I'm in the ultimate ultra lightweight. And so I got 1/4 down and I stopped, okay? And then I walked around the lake, which was a great day to walk afterward, and wound up at room 389, talked to friends, hung out, had water, and then came back. So I'm hoarse from talking, so I apologize. In fact, by going on this rant and telling you why I sound like this, I'm starting to sound much better, okay? So yeah, now we're rolling. I have to jumpstart myself to get going here. So at any rate, he goes on to write that basically Howard Terminal is surrounded by all these uses, right? And he says, while support for this location has always been expressed by you, others in the media, we are concerned that no one is asking or considering realistic answers to the following questions. One of the justifications for locating the stadium at Howard Terminal would be that it create a new walkable and stadium supporting community and businesses. What consideration has been given to the energy infrastructure used surrounding the terminal location? And another one is, the other question is, are the city and the stadium or stadium proponents actually considering relocating any uses from their locations to the pro stadium site? And all these, they're kind of like, I call them these questions are the throw it up against the wall and see what sticks variety. It's like, ugh! So you wonder why he would write that. And basically it's because the truckers may feel that they're going to suffer some sort of loss of business or some sort of impediment to what they do because of Howard Terminal being the focus of a new baseball stadium. That's what you're hearing here, all right? So that's one impediment. And the person that, it was not just by Eric Saar, it was also by Miss Jackie Lynn Ray and Andy Perez. Jackie Lynn Ray is the government affairs manager for Schnitzer Steel Industries, which is a major player in business down there. Long-time Oakland business. And then Mr. Andy Perez, who is the director of port affairs for corporate relations of Union Pacific. So you've got the California Trucking Association, Schnitzer Steel, and Union Pacific all basically speaking up for all practical purposes against Howard Terminal. And that was not this year. That was 2014. Okay? That was 2014. So, there you go. Now, the other issue I want to get to is Abel Guillen and his comments. Oakland, Abel Guillen, Oakland. And I'm wondering if they hit the Google News. Let's see here. We've got Oakland mayor reacts to here. Oakland A's announced plans to build a new stadium near the colleges on KGO 9 hours ago. And it says Oakland city leaders expressed mixed feelings today after the A's announced plans to build a new stadium near Laney College because they're not convinced it's the best place, like they really know. That's really terrible, okay? Because, you know, here, they may not be convinced it's the best place, but the A's have done a lot of research, they talked to a lot of people, and look, the city did not handle this correctly under Mayor Shaft. And Abel Guillen just sat there like an empty suit. And I don't say that with humor, I say that with displeasure because Abel's a smart guy. He's an engaging fellow. He can turn it up when he wants to. So he was conspicuously missing from this activity. He just sort of sat there like this at council. I don't know if he was angry that Dave Cobble didn't. I can't believe Cobble didn't contact him. I'm sure Dave did. But I'm also equally certain that Abel was playing some sort of game where he wasn't responding appropriately, and Dave, being a buzzsaw, just kind of moved through and said, I'm going to get this done. Great. You know, you got to like that. I'm going to get this done. Okay? So, we've got... There's a problem playing it. I wanted to play that. But they've got... okay, here we go. For some particular reason, it says, there's a problem playing the content. Oh, boy. Anyway. They've got this repeated. This is really messed up. Oh, so I'm going to... I'm scrolling down here. Oh, here it is. Okay. What happens, folks, is the KGO website is really screwed up. I'm not going to explain why I go into a long description. Just take it from me. This is what Libby said. They absolutely have to convince Peralta there's a land deal that Peralta wants to engage in, and that is their work they have in front of them, meaning she's not going to help. Then Libby goes on, the Abel Guillen says, there are a lot of people who do not speak English as their first language, do not know their rights as tenants. So they're all things that I want to make sure we make a concerted effort as a city that knows that tenants know their rights. Okay, so I get that. I mean, this wasn't written correctly. And so now I've seen that. The Peralta site is right next to Laney College, where 28,000 will be enrolled. And this says here that, well, we've already known that Libby Schaff has pushed Howard Terminal as she's done in the past, okay? And we've got, this is a very weak, you know, well, it was a very weak publication. It just is. A very weak publication. Okay. So, I have to say, Channel 7's done better before, alright? So that's not it. There. Let's see what else we can find. I'm trying to get a more... Wow. So sorry, there's no additional coverage at this time. Please try again later. Okay. Here we've got... East Bay Express was 11 hours ago. And they're saying lukewarm to the A's plan. And it says we've got the A's are all. Schaff says the A's are also aware of the displacement pressures a ballpark will have, but added the team is committed to working with the city to protect long-term residents, small business, the area's cultural assets. Asked her preference, Schaff said she wanted the A's to build at other sites. Part of why I preferred other sites is that there was less existing community to disrupt. She calls the A's Laney announcement a tremendous opportunity, but also a threat. And Councilman Guillen says he also wanted the A's to pick Coliseum Arena for their new ballpark. He said that about 2/3 of the residents in Oakland's Chinatown and San Antonio neighborhoods has spoken to Laney Ballpark prefer to be built someplace else. And Guillen says he's already talking with the Oakland City Attorney's Office to come up with legal tools to protect the existing neighborhood from what will be intense pressures as land values increase, winds rise, and the character of the area is completely transformed. And like I mean, what I hate this, okay, is that, I mean, I understand, you know, Abel's got the right idea, But what he's got to do, what there should be, is a meeting of the minds to say, okay, now that this has been proposed, let's all come together and plan it in a way that it can be done. Howard Terminal is not being done for the same set of reasons that it wasn't done 3 years before, and it has to do with the myriad number of complaints that business people down there have had who have existing going concerns, and they're very much fearful of those going concerns being interrupted. Now, you can, in the Laney College case, you can assist people and make sure they stay in their places and get an upgrade, as opposed to stopping a business, thereby causing people to lose their jobs. All right, now, I've said enough. I'm going to go and let me do one thing very quickly, folks. I just want to take care of for 1 second. All right, hold on. All right. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, I'm back. Okay. Here we go. Now get to your comments right now. Excuse me. Put this, turn this over a little bit like that. All right. Says, wow, a lot of people here. And Joseph Binsman says he's hot on the West Coast. Wiggle Babies, because you want to fill me in real quick. Yeah. Here's what happened today in a nutshell. First of all, the Oakland Athletics announced that they're going to build their ballpark at Laney College. That's what happened. Then, that's the first thing. Then the Oakland County Joint Powers Authority announced that they are going to discuss, not vote on, a possible lawsuit against the Oakland Raiders regarding the Las Vegas issue. Those are the two things that happened today. Okay? Those are the two things that happened today. So, those in the city, as represented by the mayor, Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf, and Oakland District 2 Councilmember Abel Guillen, have basically allowed themselves to be spectators as opposed to active participants in having plans for this ballpark, a package set for the ballpark. Like, for example, the reason why Howard Terminal hasn't come about is because the mayor didn't put together a package with a council and then vote on it and say, okay, this is where we want this, and here Oakland A's will give you, $370 million, to basically use for development. So you can't say to the A's, we want you at Howard Terminal, but this has to be entirely privately financed, and we're not going to do anything at all to make it happen. They didn't do that. So once again, this is the city trying by inaction to mishandle something, but not succeeding. Because the A's know what they're doing and know what they need, did a lot of research, and picked Laney College. They didn't even pick Victory Court. They picked Laney College. And the reason why they picked Laney College is that between Howard Terminal and Victory Court, Laney College provided the lowest land cost opportunity for development. That's the issue. That's the issue. So Wiggle Babies, I just threw you in. I just filled you in, not threw you in, filled you in. Hey Corvette, Barry Lee says the vote has been pulled from the agenda. Instead, it will be discussion. Well, he said more discussion. I'm writing it'll be discussion period. Wiggle Babies says, has Zinni found out why Lake Merritt's site was picked over the waterfront site? Yeah, because it had fewer impediments to development, well, i.e., fewer neighbors complaining about it, business people, than Howard Terminal. And not only that, the mayor did basically no leadership in paving the way for Howard Terminal. I mean, it's one thing to advocate for the site, but it's another thing to have a task force and a package ready to go to assist the A's. There was no carrot and stick approach. So Libby really can't be upset about what happened because she put herself in that position. She put herself in that position, okay? So, Ray 916 Ray Ortiz says, thanks, Barry Lee. So it's a good thing or a bad thing that it was pulled. I think I'm going to say something really honest. I think it was a thoughtful action. Here's why. I reported that the Raiders' Las Vegas Stadium effort is delayed by up to 2022, by 2 years. I also reported last week, I reported that on Sunday. I reported last week that the Raiders were asking the Coliseum to extend their lease to 2019 because they need a place to play. But it could go, I said last week it could go to 2020 because I didn't believe the stadium was going to be ready by 2020. And then I got another news info tip that, hey, yeah, they're not going to make the 2020 deadline, the Raiders, in terms of finishing Las Vegas Stadium. And so, guess what? It could, not only are they not going to make that deadline, this thing could be pushed out to 2022. So, folks, that information, with that information, you just have to, and I've said this to Forever Oakland people, you have to accept the possibility that someone is going to say, you know what? Hey, we probably shouldn't go about suing them if they're going to come back to the negotiating table with us. Let's talk about this first before we take action. I actually understand that, okay? Thank you for the investment, Mr. Blackman, very much. Double shares tonight, folks. Double shares tonight. Mr. Blackman did so please invest as you do. And your investment is always welcome here, to say the least, okay? And Barry Lee said, I guess it would be good if it was pulled because Godfather Grizz can have more time to muster the votes. That's one thing. That's one way of thinking about it. Barry Lee says, Wiggles, it was chosen for one reason because the BART station is close and the Howard terminal site doesn't have a BART station. That's one reason. Yeah, that's one primary reason. The other one also has to do with the opposition issue. Wiggle Baby says, all my families or friends were hoping for the Wallfront site. A lot of people were. Dan Dillon says, I really wanted Howard Terminal. Been dreaming about it for years now. I understand. Barry Lee says, yeah, Daniel, Zinni even said the Howard site ranked better than the current site. It did. But there's still that letter from T. Gary Rogers, and I've got to find it. And that's really what has really changed things when it came out, okay? And it's worth reading if I can get my grubby little hands on it. Actually, my hands are not so little. But stop that with the hands thing, okay? Anyway, Oakland, hold on a second. Oakland A's Howard Terminal 2014, okay? And by PDF, see if I can write that. Found that, all right? And let's see here. Trying to find this, and I can't. Oh, Watso. Howard Terminal, New A's Stadium, Howard Terminal. Let's try this. And hey, of all people, the Mercury News is happy about the Laney College site. The A's picked the right site for their stadium. And let's see here. A's want to, is Howard Terminal out as A's ballpark site? Yes, it is. And A's claim new Oakland ballpark is a number cruncher's dream. Hmm. Renderings. Let's see here. I'm still trying to find that. Try images. And new Ballpark, Yahoo, KTVU. Still not finding it. But the letter is really worth noting, to say the least. And yet I cannot find out. There's my picture, more than once. Scroll down and I find me. Oh, that's interesting. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Okay, can't find it there. Let me see something else. Howard Terminal and Oakland's Outer Harbor. Let's see here. They've got Howard Terminal, price in terms of payment. The use of language comes out a lot, especially in the JPA in terms of negotiating leases. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Now, I think there was one complication here that really threw a monkey wrench into this whole Howard Terminal issue, and it has to. It's a problem, okay? And there are a number. Let me put it this way, without going into too much detail here for interest of interacting with you. There are a lot of land assembly problems at Howard Terminal that really would have caused a lot of delays that are not in existence at Laney College under the jurisdiction of the Paulson Community College Board. This is going to sound weird, but it's actually more streamlined a problem, because at Howard Terminal you have a number of businesses you have to work with and their agendas, whereas at Laney College you don't have the same type of number of large businesses you have to contend with in their agendas. You have the residents and the Paulson Community College Board and the city, and that's it. Whereas at Howard Terminal, you've got the city, the Port of Oakland, and the businesses and the residents. Okay? So it's more complicated at Howard Terminal at the end of the day than Laney College. That's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at. Now, and notice it's going to be a lot of opposition. I want the A's and Raiders home. And I believe there's going to be less opposition than you think, especially once people start seeing what this can look like and we have a mitigating plan. Wiggle Baby says, yes, I prefer the waterfront, but I'll take the Lake Merritt one. We need the Raiders. And Patrick in Blackman says, what site would you pick for the A's, Zinni? Well, I liked Howard Terminal, but there are a lot of land assembly problems with Howard Terminal such that they would be difficult to overcome. It's also on landfill. There are a lot of basic issues regarding earthquakes that I would fear tremendously. I really favor something that I kind of like Deshaun's idea, and Deshaun Dixon had the idea of having the ballpark over near Brooklyn Basin. And he was saying that the Portobello I think the problem with his proposal is that the main footprint is 9 acres, but as I understand, they talked to the Portobello Properties people where this restaurant is, and they would, at least as I understood it from what I was told, be willing to do a land deal such that the footprint would be expanded to 16 acres along the waterfront. And Deshaun had a nice plan that I think wasn't given at all as much attention as it should have been, for a number of political reasons. Foremost among them, that Mike Gilmetti owns that property that he wanted to build on, and Gilmetti wanted that for open space as part of his Brooklyn Basin project. He could have roped it in, but again, for reasons that are not logical to me, he never really gave Deshaun the full attention that he deserved on the project. And yeah, it's a whole complicated set of politics that behind that alone. All these areas have with them complicated political stories. It doesn't matter if it's the Laney College pursuit, which has a book-length set of pages of complications, or Howard Terminal, or Deshaun's idea, or even leaving it at the Coliseum, which impacts the Raiders. All these, of course, impact the Raiders, as you know. So, I hope that answers your question. Hey, Donis, how are you? Corvette says, hey, Donis. Hey, Corvette says, hey, Adonis. Thomas Beltran says, I'm happy about the site. And, I am too, because you know what I'm happiest about? The A's are doing something. And I think the A's should be applauded for taking action where the Warriors didn't, and the Raiders didn't, and the city didn't, and the county didn't. Think about that. You have the Warriors, the Raiders, the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda. Okay? And that none of those organizations took action to do anything. Now here you have the A's doing something. And you would think the city officials would be right there applauding what they've done. But instead they act like spoiled kids upset that they didn't get what they wanted. That's bad. That's a bad initial signal to send. It really is. Yeah, maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but on the other hand, Ms. Mayor and council member, you didn't work to make what you wanted a reality. And remember, you're not developers. Leave that to somebody else. You are politicians. People didn't elect you to be developers. They elected you to catalyze development, to produce jobs and amenities, to make the city more fun to live in at an affordable price. That should be your only focus. So, your only focus. And the Corvette says JPA will probably never vote for a lawsuit. I think I answered talking about the site. And hey, John Marks, how are you? Okay. How are you? I'm gonna have a little fun here. Share. Right here. Okay. And Jacob P says, why Laney College site? Why laugh out loud? Okay. Jacob P, you just joined. Laney College site has less complications regarding land assembly than Howard Terminal. That's the problem. That's the reason. And what I mean by less complications, you have this person over here who owned this berth that's going through bankruptcy. That person over there that doesn't want the terminal because it will interrupt their business activities. You have very powerful players like Schnitzer Steel concerned about it. Schnitzer Steel is a long-time Oakland producer of steel, Oakland-based producer of steel. All right? So that's why. Hey, everybody. You're happy about the site. They're happy about it. Hey, Jacob, I'm okay. I'm happiest when people invest. I have to admit, though, I'm exhausted. I've got a meeting tomorrow morning. I've got to attend, so I'm going to close this because I've had a long day. I did a live stream earlier today, which if you haven't seen, I encourage you to watch it. And I've got tomorrow, we got Fort Oakland tomorrow night. Got my meeting in the morning, so I really want to get some rest. I'm exhausted. I had a great dinner at Estrada. I'm actually still hungry though. How about that? After all that, I'm still hungry, and it was great. I had refried beans, which are really great for you. I had black beans, refried beans, and enchiladas, chicken enchiladas, you know. Great, healthy meal. Loved it. Now, Jacob P says I need to get my rest. I'm not done yet, man. You know, in fact, all I really need is some water. And so I think I just might just get some water over here and just, rally, as I say, right? Or, now. Miguel, how are you, Miguel? Miguel says, do you expect Mark Davis to come out publicly and speak about the Coliseum site? No. Not right now. Joseph Binswell, you'll be on tomorrow. I will be, and I'll be down at Forever Oakland for their tailgate. John Mark says, you earned it, man. Thank you, Zinni, for broadcasting. Thank you. I'm not going anywhere yet. Just help me pump up these numbers. Help me get them to 40. Everybody, put this on your Facebook page. Help me get it out there. I know it's like 1:45 in the morning in the East, but let's have a little fun. Get them in here. Get them all stirred up, and then drop them. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke, okay? It was a joke. Now, the expression on my face that is no indication of how I feel. I'm really excited about this A's ballpark. I really am. And I am disappointed in the elected officials. And I do think that they should really applaud the A's for wanting to stay here in Oakland. Not be so petulant, horrible stuff. That's bad, bad, bad. What I'm doing right now is I'm putting this on social media. I'm even putting it on Reddit. Ooh, Reddit. Okay. Let's see, 17. Got it. Okay, now, that's what I'm doing. Tagging this thing all over the place. Trying to get people interested in, checking it out, right? Checking it out. Do that, and then that. I'll put hashtag live stream. And then choose a subreddit. I'll choose Oakland. Oakland Athletics. There. That is actually that's the logical one. And I'm putting this right now on Reddit. And so within 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's on. Oakland A's. This link is on Reddit now. Okay. Back to talking with you all. Now, Hassan Shokar, do I think Cubs will repeat? Maybe. But Wiggle Baby says, so with Oakland off the list of holding up the next expansion for Major League Baseball, the last is Tampa. What's the deal with Tampa? Can't wait for the next two teams. And John Mark said it correctly. Oakland officials need to get it done. He also said Mark Davis needs to look at the Oakland Coliseum site. And Jacob P says, how much longer till you think the Vegas deal is in the garbage for good? About a year. That's right. To which you're asking me, you mean we're going to have to go through another year of this? And I'm afraid so. Because but over that year, the costs will mount. At some point next year, we'll see the Raiders realize the handwriting on the wall, and if they can't get enough sponsorship revenue, they'll begin, and it won't be abrupt, but they'll begin to make efforts to start a stadium deal here in Oakland. And at that point, now, signing the non-relocation agreements is not a signal one way or the other that they are going to go and continue the project, but it is a signal that they need the money. But they're not a place where they can they can get that money yet, because the project is not far along. No, that's really not the reason. The Raiders are they're not even finished analyzing the property, okay? Sorry, it's been a long day. The Raiders are not finished analyzing the property. No, the Raiders have not turned over ownership of the land to the Stadium Authority. And by the way, the Stadium Authority meeting is at 1 o'clock tomorrow. Let me check something. Oh, shoot. Oh, I just realized something here. I want to check and see if there has been anything additional added to the Stadium Authority agenda. Hold on for that day. Open Sesame page. There is it. The website of the Las Vegas Stadium Authority. Set for September 14th, which is tomorrow. Or if you're on the East Coast, it's today. Okay? There is no additional item in terms of background materials or materials. You have the agenda, the meeting minutes from the last meeting, and here are the background materials. You have public comment, small local business definition, resolution to extend time to 18 months, Stadium Authority MOU on project document timing, and owner's representative development compliance officer potential scope of work. The number 7, the Stadium Authority memorandum project timing, is a letter that I've read to you before having to do with the development agreement. All right. The public comment submissions really is one. Well, it's 2, but one of them is very long, and it has to do with a transportation study by Tony Marnell, chairman and CEO of Marnell Companies in Las Vegas. Gives us address, and this is what he's written. He says, "Dear Jeremy," this is the Jeremy of Willow Applied Analysis, who is basically the point person, the real point person on the stadium project in Las Vegas, and he writes, he being Tony, "Dear Jeremy, as per our previous conversations, we submit to the Stadium Authority this email and the attached draft review of the traffic study for Las Vegas Raiders Stadium Kimmy Horn Impact Study that made 2017 will copy cooperating and coordinating agencies with public record." Basically, what he's reporting is a study of a study. A study to say the other study, what the other study did right and what the other study did wrong. Namely, the Kimley Horn study. Interesting. Desert Express submits these comments to the Stadium Authority. The bill requires that, and the Stadium Authority takes in consideration. And here are the comments. Okay, I'm gonna distill this as much as I can for your edification. And why am I making these funny sounds? Just to keep you engaged. There's a lot of comments here. A lot. Now, I'm just cherry picking some comments. Here's one. I mean, this just popped up. I didn't choose it out of prejudice. It came into my face scrolling. Inadequate study area. Study intersections do not adequately cover the likely reach of project trips. Only 4 study intersections were included along Las Vegas Boulevard within the main strip area. Considering a majority of the attendees are assumed to either walk, drive, or get a ride from their hotels to the stadium, these study locations do not sufficiently capture the project impact at the other signalized and unsignalized intersections along Las Vegas Boulevard or the surrounding area. Several intersections on the remote parking lot access trip distribution routes have high project-related traffic but are not analyzed. Whoa. So basically, we only got Kimley Horn didn't give us the full picture in terms of traffic impact. That's what that's saying. And it says here, additional intersection analysis may be required. All right. Thank you, Mr. Piling, for the investment. Thank you. Woo. It's double shares night, folks. Mr. Piling, double shares. Mr. Blackman, double shares. Who cares to join him? Thank you. Thank you. And then there's another one. Other missing analysis. Traffic analysis was not completed for a scenario to verify the proposed mitigations would adequately address project impacts. No freeway analysis was completed to measure the impact game day traffic will have on freeway traffic operations. Holy Nikes, listen to this. I have to do a separate video on this one. This is wild. Traffic analysis was not completed for a scenario to verify the proposed mitigations would adequately address project impacts. No freeway analysis was completed to measure the impact game day traffic would have on freeway traffic operations. I'm going to repeat that a third time because I want everybody to comprehend what I'm telling you. All right? Basically, they didn't look at a scenario, a possible outcome that, where you would understand how the freeway behaved on game day. That's it. No freeway analysis was completed to measure the impact game day traffic would have on freeway traffic operations. So you've got this game day, and this is why it's important to build a computer model, like a system dynamics model of a stadium, and you sit it within a mathematical model of the region, so then you can run the model and see how the stadium will impact the traffic patterns, right? This study is saying that Kimmy Horn didn't do that. Wow. But I'm not done, folks. Impractical on-site circulation assumptions. Several circulation issues are noted within the staging lot for taxis and, Uber vehicles and bus shuttle. There's clearly not enough space for taxi/TNC vehicles to queue on site, and mixing of taxi TNC vehicles could further reduce the operational efficiency of the staging area. Similar concerns were raised for the bus shuttle parking area. The proposed bus bay layout allows for bi-directional movement, which could introduce excessive pedestrian bus conflicts. Holy shnikes! In other words, you've got an area where you really can't easily accommodate taxis and Uber. That's what it says here. There's not enough space for them to queue up because it's so small, all right? It says it right here. Oh, this is hilarious. This is hilarious. Woo, this is hilarious. Wow. Impractical on-site circulation assumptions. That's it. All right. Oh, and there's more, folks. Airport access concerns. About approximately 35% of trips from the Tropicana Avenue parking site are assumed to use Paradise Road to reach the airport, CC215, which equates to 2,100 project-related vehicle trips per peak hours. All right? Even if the distribution assumptions for Paradise Road are conservative, it is still likely that airport traffic will be negatively affected by game day traffic leaving the Tropicana Avenue parking area due to its proximity to the airport. Well, by the way, if that's the case, no, to use Bali High, man, you're going to frick up the airport. Inadequate pedestrian walkway analysis. Even if you use Bali High, it's going to be worse. If you use Tropicana, it's going to be bad. Bali High, worse. Tropicana's up here, Bali High is right here, Airport's right there, all right? Wow. Or if you flip it around, all right? Inadequate pedestrian walkway analysis. Hey, thank you, Mr. Ortiz, for your investment. This is great. Double shares, Mike. Thank you. Inadequate pedestrian walkway analysis. The peak hour pedestrian volumes. That's like the highest point hours, all right? Peak hour means, you get low points. High point is most traffic. The hour of most traffic. The peak hour pedestrian volumes, which, this is walking people walking. Used to calculate the minimum acceptable walkway widths did not include background pedestrian traffic. In other words, what that means, folks, this is what that means, all right? This is what that means. It means that there is a baseline of pedestrian traffic. Let me give you let's throw out some numbers, all right? Let's say if I told you that over the course of a given day, there are 5,000 people that walk along a sidewalk, right? That's your baseline of pedestrian traffic. They didn't include that. So you take your baseline and you add in your overage, right? You know what the overage is, but guess what? They didn't add it to the base. Oh, holy shnikes. Man, oh man. This is freaking hilarious. And this is led into the public comments, and I'll bet you this doesn't get discussed tomorrow. It should. This is a travesty. Someone should bring this up. Maybe it would. Maybe it will. Tomorrow's going to be drama. Massively high drama. Okay? Oh, and it gets better, folks. Here's another dot. Effectiveness of the recommended improvements. The report provides no discussion regarding the connection from the traffic analysis results to the determination of project improvements. And what the heck does that mean? It means, hey, look, you're telling me the problem, but you're not telling me how the problem relates to the solution that you suggest. All right? The on-site improvements listed should be categorized as project design features, while the off-site improvements were previously identified in regional improvement programs already. It is important to note that these off-site mitigations were developed to address existing or future forecast traffic conditions without the stadium. So now here you've got the stadium and a gigantic set of problems that the Kimmy Horn study didn't even begin to address. Okay? Holy shnikes. And here's the review conclusion. Goes like this. The study contains incomplete documentation of the evaluation methodologies, analyses, and findings of the traffic effects a proposed NFL stadium would have on its surrounding roadway system without the Las Vegas resort corridor. Support data and calculation steps for the trip generation and trip distribution should be included to validate the adequacy and completeness of the study. Additional detailed analyses, such as freeway analysis and on-site circulation simulation, should be included to provide a more realistic representation of game day conditions. Furthermore, the recommended mitigations were developed based on existing and forecasted future traffic conditions without the stadium. They didn't even park the stadium into the future estimates. So basically undercounted. No evaluation was completed to measure the effectiveness of these recommendations. The recommended improvements. Excuse me. No evaluation was completed to measure the effectiveness of these recommended improvements. This sentence is poorly constructed, so let me reconstruct it for them. Basically what they're saying is this. No evaluation was completed to measure the effectiveness of these recommendations that these recommendations would have for improvements would have on mitigation, on solving the problem. All right? In other words, they didn't figure out if the recommended improvements would actually solve the problem. In other words, if these improvements would actually handle more traffic. So let's say, this is what this means. Let's say, as the NDOT report states, I need an additional interchange. That's $200 million, right? Fine. And the NDOT report is guilty of this problem as well. The NDOT report says that it has to have 3 additional, interchanges. And the call was to basically, even though these interchanges were already on the books to be built, there was no funding for them to this date. There is still no funding for them. You understand? But guess what? All of those improvements were based on traffic projections already, having nothing to do with the existence of the stadium. All these lazy pokes did was say, oh, let's just, move all this up and we'll be ready for the stadium. What this study is saying is, hey, look, no, you didn't analyze the impact on the stadium at all. So you have no idea that these improvements you're asking for are really going to work. That's what this study is saying. Oh, wow. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay. I got to download this report, and I got to talk about it later, which I'm going to do. I'm going to write, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that little bad boy later, and I'm going to write a nice, little concise blog post that explains the problem, because there is, and I'm sure you'll agree, a lot of gobbledygook that came out of my mouth that you don't understand. I am here to translate for you. Now, allow me to continue, and I'll go back to your comments. Let's see here. We've got, all right. Corvette says if Vegas is built, Raiders would go bankrupt. Yes. Well, it's a little bit, you're taking the cart before the horse. Let's put it this way. The Raiders will go bankrupt before this is built. The way this is going, no. All right? No. Okay? Now, Thomas Beltran says, seems to me like Vegas is pricing the Raiders out. Yes. And Pedro Garner says, how far along the A's with their 10-year lease? Well, Pedro, it's not a 10-year lease. It actually has options. And the mayor can come through anytime she wants to and make adjustments in the lease. So it's a lot more flexible than people give it credit for. Good night, Jacob P. And Wiggle Baby says, Oakland officials should offer Davis most of the Coliseum land to invest and build a stadium. Have Oakland build some mixed-use stuff, convention stuff would work beautifully there. And to that, I give you the Fortress ENA/lot group plan. And so, Ain Sources, you work in finance, right? Well, I'm a media guy. Donut says, but my background is in urban planning and urban economics and stadium and building development. Yes. Real estate and investment analysis. Now, Donut says, movie announcement for him is coming soon. That's fine. Okay. Now, scrolling down. Let's see here. All right. We've got something next. With 26 watching now. It's 11:07 right now. And I'm going to do something since I have a meeting in 12 hours. I'm going to go to bed. And I want to be... I'm hoarse. I want to be in tip-top shape. And I've been on now. Yeah. I want to be tip-top shape. So I know this has been a short live stream, but be back tomorrow. Well, 68 minutes, okay? All right. So, peace, Mr. Blackman. Thank you all, everybody, for your participation and your investments. And I'll get your shares out tonight. And good night, all. Good night. Hey, Coop. The champ is here. He just arrived. And, man, I got to go to sleep. Champ, I'm exhausted. I'm thinking about I am packing in. I'm still hungry. I might even order late. I don't want to order late night pizza. It's my favorite place just closed. And I don't want a pizza. At this late time. What closes at midnight? Miss Saigon. Hey, Miss Saigon. No, it's Wednesday. Miss Saigon is closed. Miss Saigon is a great place on Grand Avenue here for Thai food. Vietnamese food, I'm sorry. Right next to the alley. That place is closed. Rats. What serves at midnight? I don't want to eat a Jack in the Box. Hey, Coop, I'm late getting back to you, okay? And Raider Kuko says, hey, Zinni, I invested today for the first time. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Raider Kuko. Thank you. And thank you, Tony Piling, as well. 7-Eleven has good pizza? Yeah, I want, sometimes they do, right? I don't want pizza. I want something like I'll figure it out. Oh, for crying out loud. It would be great to have a late night Chinese or, something. I'll figure it out. All right. T. Cooper says, don't do it. Don't do what? Don't do what? Tell me, T. Coop. Don't do what? What? Don't do 7-Eleven? I'm not going to do 7-Eleven. Is that what you're saying? I'm not going to do 7-Eleven. I'm not going to at all. At all. Joseph Bensman says, interesting political news broke today, Zenny. Maybe tomorrow I can bring it up. Do you want to bring it up right now, Joseph? While the champ is here? Oh, T. Cooper says 7-Eleven. Don't worry. I feel you. Okay? I feel you. Wiggle babies. Oh, Rick writes, you the man. So, Bensman, do you want to bring it up now? Because tomorrow it's going to be a little bit more difficult. I'm going to be out in the field. Hello? Taco Bell's nasty, John Marks. Oh, never. There's no P.F. Chang's around here. I will never eat at Taco Bell. They have the worst refried beans in the world. Oh, it makes me upchuck. I'm sorry. No, no, no. It's about Bernie. The political news, if it has nothing to do with football or sports or what we're talking about, I don't want to go there right now. So, no, forget it. It's okay, John. Marks, it's not your fault, all right? It's not your fault, but I don't want to deal with that stuff, okay? As far as the political news, I want us just to, and the reason is that my brain can only take so much. This has been a busy day, and I'm exhausted, okay? Okay, fine. I'll look it up and find it out. Whatever. There was some guy jogging that had a Bernie shirt on. Maybe it's related to that. All right. Good night, folks. Wait a minute. I'm just curious. Now let me just kind of see what the heck's going on here. Let's see here. Bernie Sanders. It's only a click away, right? Sanders introduces universal health care backed by 15 Democrats. I like that. Cool. That's great news. Let's see if he can get it done and, make it so I can live longer. There you go. All right. Okay. No, Joseph says, no, the political news wasn't on Bernie. 2 other things, but that's okay. We can talk about it later. Does it have something to do with sports? Please say yes. That's all I want to know, because tomorrow I'm going to be at Fort Oakland, and I may not be able, all right? So just answer me, does it have to do with sports? I'm waiting, Mr. Bensman. Mr. Bensman. Mr. Bensman. Mr. Bensman going once. Mr. Bensman. Mr. Bensman. Maybe Mr. Bensman will, invest on the way out, a couple of bucks or something like that. Steve Collins says, grab a salad, great idea. It's unrelated? No, forget it. I don't want to hear it. No. All right. Sorry. I want to keep it to sports, NFL, Major League Baseball, facilities, and stuff going on. We got to focus. All right. Oh, Olive Garden is nasty. I hate their pastas. This is processed stuff. No. Not at all. No. 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 A good old soup and sandwich. Now, Tony Piling? That's a good idea. Or maybe just soup. Or maybe just bed. It's 11:13. No. Yeah, it's 11:13. Good night, everybody. Thank you, and thank you for the investments. See ya.